on you were actually representing Gujarat government on the same case, and now you're on the other side, that's the CBI side.
I'm not on the other side.
Okay, how would you
Earlier also I was for the investigating agency, which had come to the conclusion that this is a case of fake encounter. There is no encounter, he has been murdered. And even Kausabi has been murdered. Now, after the investigation is transferred to the CBI also says that it is murder. So earlier I was appearing for the state, that is investigating and prosecuting agency. Now also I am appearing for the state or the CBI, which is the investigating and the prosecuting agency. Both of which have reached the same conclusion, that it's a case of murder. At different stages they have been in charge of this case. So it's not the other side.
So would you say that the reason that you shifted was because of the public statement made by Narendra Modi?
At that time, the government of Gujarat had filed an affidavit through senior officer to the effect that this is a case of murder and we are prosecuting the persons and taking stern action against persons who are responsible for these murders. I was the one appearing for them, and I was assuring the court that this was the first time that so many IPS officers have been arrested in the case of a murder which is committed in the discharge of their duties. And we are not going to spare anybody. That was the affidavit of the government, and we will take action in accordance with law. With the same murders were alleged to be have been stage managed by certain police officers. Police officers of Gujarat as well as Rajasthan. And suddenly I find on the television the Chief Minister making a public statement, public speech, and asking the people, what should we do to a terrorist like this Sohrabuddin? Do you think we should put garlands, or it was a rhetorical remark? So what do you think we should have done with him? People are talking back, screaming, kill, kill. Now I don't follow Gujarati, and he said there, the gesture suggested that he seemed to agree with the response of the people and to say that, oh, that's what we've done. How is it a crime? So on one hand, the same government had arrested the police officers for stage managing this murder in the form of an encounter. On the other hand, there was somebody who was saying, what's wrong with it? Then why are you prosecuting it? So I thought that the speech perhaps went directly contrary to the assurances being held out in writing to the Supreme Court. And it was not possible for me to be able to continue to assure the court that the most earnest attempts were being made to ascertain as to who are the guilty and punish them in accordance with law. So I just said that unless the Chief Minister makes amends, I will not be able to continue.
Sir, you spoke about the IPS officers and the government police officers. Geeta Jodi was one case, I think it was on 23rd of March in 2007, appearing on behalf of Gujarat government. You told the Supreme Court that she was not removed because from the investigation due to some ulterior motives, but CBI stand is that she was removed or she was pressurized to make change. I mean,
yes, those revelations have come to light now. And at that time, no one knew that her husband was involved in some case. That her husband action was said to be going to be initiated, and whether that factor weighed with her in taking the investigation in the wrong direction and perhaps giving some incorrect information to the Supreme Court. It was not known. But I always believed that she was a very fine officer.
Okay.
And she is the one who had in fact cracked this case. After that, whether she's come to some pressure, whether she was threatened or not, well, the truth will be revealed in the court. But I do believe that now perhaps her investigation did go in the wrong direction.
Okay.
Whether it was an error or it was deliberate is yet to be established. All that I will say is that even now, all the accused are presumed to be innocent
Okay.
till they are found to be guilty by a court. I am not at all saying that they're guilty. I'm saying that there is credible material against them, on the basis of which they will have to face the trial. But and I don't want to discuss the details of evidence,
Of course.
because some of the evidence which we have today may not stand up to the court. The witnesses that we are relying on are obviously not angels, because when a conspiracy takes place between those who are in position of authority to commit such crimes and run syndicates of extortion rackets, they will obviously get these crimes committed through persons who are perhaps criminals. So their other activities are going to be wrong, but they are the only evidence that we are going to get. They are the only witnesses who will stand up, and they will be in the nature of accomplices. The court will scrutinize their evidence with the greatest caution, and then only arrive at a finding of guilt or innocence.
So coming back to Narendra Modi, do you still think he owes an apology for the statement that he made? I mean, in one side, you presume Amit Shah or all these people are not guilty because until they're proven, and the other hand, you have a chief minister of a state publicly almost announcing a.
I think the chief minister is continuing to interfere in the judicial process. I don't think it is correct for the chief minister to give a certificate of innocence to any accused and from a public platform. He is the ultimate upholder of law. He should respect the process which is underway in the judiciary and reserve his judgment and reserve his comments. There may be some accused may be his political colleague, but he does not have the authority, according to me, to say that so and so is guilty and so is innocent. That's a role which has been assigned by the Constitution to the judiciary, and all other institutions must respect the sphere which has been reserved for the judiciary by the Constitution.
So again, Narendra Modi also made these claims on the public platform about what is it? Cases being transferred out of Gujarat. You have said that we are one answer. Is it in response to that?
I think we don't want them to be transferred.
I only said that in the status report, we have not requested the Supreme Court to transfer.
Okay.
That is a factual statement. I also said that tomorrow, if we come to the conclusion that the atmosphere for a fair trial is vitiated, we may still approach the Supreme Court. But it all depends at what stage we want to go. The trial has not yet begun. But if we find that the discovery of truth is being hampered in the Gujarat state by whosoever, by the political leadership, or because senior police officers are involved in the conspiracy, we may still request the Supreme Court to consider the trial in a neutral place where a detached atmosphere can be expected.
Would that neutral place also be Rajasthan? I mean, there have been reports that CBI also doesn't believe that Rajasthan is.
It is really the discretion of the Supreme Court at that time,
Okay.
at what stage we approach.
Okay.
and it should be a state which is contiguous, so that the witnesses don't have to travel long distances. They are also not inconvenienced with regard to the language and the culture of the place. So as little a shock for them in the place of venue of trial as possible. It could be any of the places which is deemed to be appropriate by the court.
So how strong do you think the case is for the prosecution? I mean, the evidences that you have, of course, the call records, but the judicial custody of Amit Shah hasn't helped much, it seems.
No. I don't want to prejudge the issue. The guilt or innocence is going to be pronounced by the court. It's not for me to deliver my judgment. That will be entirely wrong. I will be prejudicing the accused. All that I say is that I am conscious of my responsibility in the matter. My responsibility as a prosecutor is to ensure that no innocent person is harassed, and my responsibility as a prosecutor is to ensure that every guilty person is punished. And as a prosecutor, I feel that there is a mountain of evidence. This is a case in which there is a huge amount of evidence. The conspiracy has been revealed. Even the participating actors have spoken. Documentary evidence is corroborating. Oral evidence is available of those who were themselves in the act. And what is most unfortunate in this case is that even when the Supreme Court was monitoring this investigation, it's most regrettable, it's most unfortunate. In the process of discovery of truth, 2 witnesses have been killed. It's so sad that they could be killed even when the Supreme Court is monitoring the investigation. So therefore, I believe that this is most serious matter, and the judiciary will deal with it with due sense of urgency.
So do you think CBI's made a mistake by not asking for Shah's remand in at the first place instead of judicial custody?
I don't think so. They are entitled, they know the law. They know that they can get remand any time in the first 15 days of his arrest. And they have chosen to exercise that right when they are ready for making the most of the opportunity to have him in police remand. So now they are ready. At that time, perhaps they were not immediately ready.
How important is N.K. Amin's turning approval for the CBI in this case?
Normally, approval's testimony turns out to be the clincher in cases. And if Amin has spoken the entire truth, it's going to be a clincher.
So, are the whole facts about Kausarvi's case known to the CBI now? Is that part clear?
It's not known who killed her, but it's now known where she was killed.
Okay.
It's also known how she was killed. It's also known who all were present at the time when her mortal remains were consigned to the flames. And then the rest of the bones, etc., are collected and thrown into the river. So enough is known.
My last question: would CBI ask, or rather approach Narendra Modi to question him as he is the Home Minister of the state?
You see, that's a decision which will be known only to the investigators. I get to know after the decisions are made. CBI is a highly skilled professional investigating agency. They will not make a false move. They will take this step only when they are absolutely certain of its requirement.